Shub Niggurath is a perverse fertility deity belonging to the immensely powerful Ogdru Jihad. Shub Niggurath mostly takes form in the middle of dark and decadent forests, a trait which earned her the epithet of Black Goat of the Woods. Another reason she is called the Black Goat is because many of the forms she assumes all involve her having the physical characteristics of a goat, which according to some is supposedly the bastardization of the demon Baphomet, who was also known for his highly perverse rituals. Like the vast majority of her race, Shub Niggurath's form is completely unbearable to witness by mortal eyes. She appears as an extraterrestrial, sanity-shaking immense cloudy mass and tissue with tentacles, hooves, eyes, fanged mouths and other deformities protruding from every surface. Overview. Her symbol consists of 3 goat heads attached at the neck with horns pointed outward to form a circular shape. Like her kind, she was created by Azathoth, replacing the Ogdru Jihad known as Lukthu, the birth womb of the Old Ones, after it was slain by Samael during the extermination of Old. Shub Niggurath emerged from a torn piece of Lukthu, assuming a form and identity of her own separate from Lukthu's existence. It is said that from the moment she manifested, she provided the Ogdru Jihad with thousands of her young to aid in combating God's forces. Therefore, she was a crucial target by the archangels to defeat if they had any hope of succeeding to completely wipe the Old Ones from God and Asherah's spheres of creation. Eventually, Shub Niggurath was incapacitated and her young were destroyed before she was imprisoned alongside her race. Despite being imprisoned, Shub Niggurath is able to assume an astral form of sorts that is capable of affecting the material plane of our reality, but only for so long. However, while her time in the physical world is limited, this allows her more than enough time to spread her young across the world. In fact, Shub Niggurath, being a fertility deity, saw to it that in order for her race to properly survive and see through the conquering of God's universe, she must mate with the Ogdru Hem, some of whom are her own offspring, and produce other powerful monstrous deities. Out of all of the Old Ones, she is one of the most extensively worshipped by the most depraved heathens. They believe that should they appease her, she will provide them with her nutrients that will purportedly give them immortality, unaware that the sustenance she offers will in fact turn them into hideous monstrosities. Her young are continuously spat forth from her mouths, which are either consumed into the miasmatic form or escape to some monstrous life elsewhere. In the mythos, Shub Niggurath is an outer god, or outer goddess, in the pantheon. She is a perverse fertility deity, said to appear as an evil cloud-like entity. An enormous mass which extrudes black tentacles, slime-dripping mouths, and short, writhing goat legs. Small creatures are continually spat forth by the monstrosity, which are either consumed into the miasmatic form or escape to some monstrous life elsewhere. She is the wife of the not-to-be-named one and of Yog-Sothoth, which birthed the twins Nug and Yeb. Cult. Of all the mythos deities, Shub Niggurath is probably the most extensively worshipped. Her worshippers include the Hyperboreans, the Movians. Tyog of Kana was a Movian high priest of Shub Niggurath, and the people of Sarnath, as well as any number of druidic and barbaric cults. She is also worshipped by the non-human species of the mythos, such as the fungi from Yugoth, aka Migo, the Kayanyanians and the Nug-Soth of Yadath. With the proper occult paraphernalia, Shub Niggurath can be summoned to any woodlands at the time of the new moon. However, the place from whence she comes is not known. One possibility is that she dwells at the court of Azathoth at the center of the universe. She may also live beneath the planet Yadath, where she is served by the Dholes. It is also possible that she lives in another dimension altogether. EXP. The Encyclopedia Cthulhiana. Progeny Shub Niggurath is believed to have mated with Hastur to produce the beings Ithaca, Zur, and Yoigor. Hastur may also be the father of her 1,000 young or dark young, though there is a good chance that they were spawned by fission. She may possibly have mated with Yog Sothoth to produce Nug and Yeb, though their father is more likely Hastur, and even Yig to produce Baiatus, which is debatable since some believe her to be Yig's mother, though he may be the offspring of Mapo no Rujan. Dark young of Shub Niggurath. The dark young of Shub Niggurath are horrifying, pitch-black monstrosities, seemingly made of ropey tentacles. They stand as tall as a tree, perhaps between 12 and 20 feet tall, on several pairs of stumpy, hoofed legs. A mass of tentacles protrudes from their trunks where a head would normally be, and puckered maws, dripping green goo, cover their flanks. The monsters roughly resemble trees in silhouette, the trunks being the short legs and the tops of the trees represented by the ropey, branching bodies. A congregation of these abominations smells like an open grave. They usually dwell in woodlands wherever Shub Niggurath's cult is active. They're sometimes mistaken for Shoggoths. The dark young are usually called upon to preside over cult ceremonies. One means for summoning them is found in the Book of Iban and requires a blood offering. The ritual may only be performed in the deep of the woodlands at the darkest of the moon, and the victim must be sacrificed over a stone altar. Dark young act as proxies for Shub Niggurath in the accepting of sacrifices and the worship of cultists, in the devouring of non-cultists, and in the spreading of their mother's faith across the world. The Black Goat. Although Shub Niggurath is often associated with the epithet the Black Goat of the Woods with 1,000 young, it is possible that the Black Goat is a separate entity. Rodolfo Ferraresi, in his essay The Question of Shub Niggurath, says that Lovecraft himself separated the two in his writings, such as in Out of the Eons, in which a distinction is made between Shub Niggurath and the Black Goat. The goat is the figurehead through which Shub Niggurath is worshipped. The most persuasive distinction, however, is the depiction of the Black Goat as a male, most notably in the rite performed in The Whisperer in Darkness, in which the Black Goat is called the Lord of the Woods. The Black Goat may be the personification of Pan, since Lovecraft was influenced by Arthur Machen's The Great God Pan, a story that probably inspired Lovecraft's The Dunwich Horror. In this incarnation, the Black Goat may represent Satan in the form of the satyr, a half-man, half-goat. In folklore, the satyr symbolized a man with excessive sexual appetites.